So this came out of the Dodge Wagon. And this will be a separate restoration job in and of itself. Didn't belong in there. We'll see if we can make it function. So right here I am testing the water jacket. I did have to do some repairs, soldered some on there, right there, but it is holding water for right now. The bottom of the heater, you can see it's aluminum. It's been ate up, some of these corners. So I'm going to make a new one using this material. This is used on some other piece of equipment. So yeah, I'll just cut this out and remake it. Of course, it is a 6-volt motor. As an experiment, I'm using this ignition resistor. So far, looks pretty good. The resistor part number, I think it's off of maybe 60s, early 70s Chrysler products ignition. That's what I used in series with my coil. It seems to work perfect. So I just put 2 of these in parallel, and looks like it's dropped the voltage down to 6 volts for the motor. So it looks like that's going to work. So here's the final wiring setup. Looks like 2 of these in parallel. I don't have the meter set up, but 2 of those in parallel will actually put 6 volts on the motor. So I'm going to put that little control, speed control, I guess, or on off, or whatever it was supposed to be. I'm going to put that in the circuit, but this looks like it's going to work fine. I put a 15-amp fuse in there, just guessing, and it hasn't blown, so I'm going to call that good. But this should be the circuit that should work. So I used this kind of paint, forged, hammered, and this looks pretty good. Whenever I have rusty metal, I try to use some kind of paint that has a texture or implies a texture. Kind of covers it a little bit better. There's the nice Arvin tag on there, Columbus, Indiana. Although nobody will see that when it gets back in the truck. Got some pieces missing here. I'm going to be creative on that. So I'll let you see it later. Okay. The trim was missing on these. Well, little bits of it were still in here. But I recreated the trim on here with bass strings. Bass guitar strings, these 2 from a friend of mine. This is a piano string from my mom's 9-foot Steinway. She passed away about 10 years ago. The piano is long gone, but it's one of the remnants. So that's what these are. Put JB Weld putty on one end and just bent the other end over. Hopefully that's going to stay in there just right. Bottom piece, I just poppity popped those rivets in there. And This is a hole that I added. I'm going to put that in there for the wires to come through the positive and ground. And that should work good. Change in my design. The power wire, which is going to be the green wire. I had everything going out the bottom. I think it's going to work better. The ground wire is supposed to actually ground to the chassis on a screw somewhere. I'll have to clean something up for that. The power is going to come up through the top, and that'll be the only thing coming out. And I don't have a grommet to go in there. Wish I did. Maybe I can come up with something later. Decided to reroute the wires is, well, two reasons. One reason, the wires laying in here were hitting the fan blades, so that was a problem. And also too, I need the power to go out the top. That's easiest to reach fuse block, etc., wherever it's going. So I think this is going to be a little bit. If you notice that first photo of the old heater in the truck, you would notice that it's really crooked. It was mounted by a drunken guerrilla hillbilly, I think. I have straightened it up pretty well. The holes are not neat. I'm gonna have to come along later on and weld it up a little bit neater, and plus I've also got a couple of other extra holes, which who knows what they were for. I'll have to plug them up. Right now it'll be a temporary plug, but now is to get the heater in and get it working. Yeah, I think that's going to look a lot straighter. So I'm going to use this stuff, a little bit of this stuff, to go between the heater and the firewall. I'll close up some of the gaps. And this is insulation with foil on the inside. So I'll cut this up and make this fit. Installed. Looks a whole lot better than when I bought the truck. Of course, I still have yet to actually get water to it, so that's going to be another project. I think I'll have to take the head completely off so I can get that plug out. Oh joy.